In the great kingdom of Umokwe, the people rejoiced at the birth of their king's first and only child, Princess Unwama. But joy quickly turned to confusion. Her head was barred from birth, and it continued growing unnaturally. As Unwama grew, no hair ever grew on her head. Herbalists and doctors were summoned from all corners, yet no solution came. Some whispered that she was cursed, others said she was a spirit child with a hidden purpose. But the king and queen, despite their fear, loved their daughter deeply. They shielded her from the world, hiding her deformity from public view. As Unwama grew, so did the gossip. The palace maid whispered behind her back. The guards mocked her in silence. Whenever she walked the halls, silence followed her like a shadow. She spent most of her days in the royal library or by the window in her chambers, staring out at a world that rejected her. Though mocked, she was intelligent, kind, and spoke with wisdom beyond her age. The only comfort she found was in her journal, where she wrote of dreams, love, and a life beyond pity. When Unwama turned 21, the king announced that he was seeking a royal suitor for his daughter. The news spread fast across kingdoms. Princes from various dynasties arrived in luxury SUVs and designer clothes, ready to win her heart. But as each met her, graceful, intelligent, but with a disproportionately large head, they fled in awkward silence or made excuses to leave the palace grounds. The rejection wounded her deeply, but she bore it quietly, her smile never faltering. Among the palace guards was a humble young man named Chijioke, tall, dark-skinned, with alert eyes and a quiet spirit. He had watched Unwama from afar for years. Unlike others, he saw past her deformity. He admired her grace, her wisdom, and her heart. But Chijioke, though brave, feared the king. He knew that even looking at the princess for too long could cost him his job, or even worse. One morning, while preparing for another arranged suitor's visit, Unwama broke down in tears. Her royal dresser had held up a mirror, and the sight of herself shattered her. The mirror slipped from her hand and cracked. That day, she locked herself in her chambers and refused to eat. The king and queen wept outside her door. Helpless, Chijioke heard of it and stood under her window all night, silently praying for her healing. Unwama often sat by her window, and that night she noticed a folded note tied to a stone lying beneath her balcony. Curiously, she opened it. It read, "You are more than your head. You are a heart the world doesn't deserve. See." She didn't know who C was, but for the first time in years, she smiled. More notes followed. Each day, Unwama received a new one, tucked under her balcony, left near her garden, slipped under her chamber door. They were thoughtful, poetic, and full of admiration. She started replying, hiding her responses in the rose bush by the palace gate, and though neither had seen each other's face, during these exchanges, something deep and beautiful began to blossom. One rainy afternoon, Unwama snuck out during a palace festival to discover her secret admirer. She followed the path of her letters to the royal stables and found Chijioke. Embarrassed, he fell to his knees and begged for forgiveness, expecting punishment. But instead, Unwama offered him her hand. "Why did you hide?" she asked. "Because I am not a prince," he said. "And yet you are the only one who has ever seen me," she replied. The next morning, whispers exploded across the palace. A maid had seen them talking. The queen summoned Unwama and warned her, "You are royalty. You must marry a prince, not a palace boy." Unwama wept, torn between love and duty. Chijioke, fearing he had caused her pain, submitted a resignation letter, but the king intercepted it before it reached the royal court. That night, the king had a dream. His late grandfather, the revered King Omenka, appeared in a vision, seated on a stool of fire. He said, "Do not let pride rob your daughter of happiness. The one with a true heart sees beyond appearances. Your legacy lies not in status, but in humility." The king woke drenched in sweat, shaken by the warning. Still, the royal council insisted that Unwama meet another suitor. a foreign prince from a Ghanaian royal family. The press was invited, cameras rolled, but when the prince saw Nwama, he smirked and whispered to his aide, "Is this a joke?" Nwama heard it. Humiliated before the nation, she rushed into the palace, tears streaming down her face. After the incident, the king addressed his people on national TV. "My daughter has been mocked, not for her character but her appearance. But today, I say no more. The one who truly loves her, regardless of bloodline, shall have my blessing." The news shocked the kingdom. The streets erupted in debate, but many secretly admired the king's courage. That evening, under a moonlight garden filled with torchlights, Nwama stood waiting. Chijioke walked in, holding a single rose and his worn-out guard badge. "I have nothing but a heart that beats for you," he said. "Then, that is more than gold," she replied. He knelt, not in royalty but in love. She accepted, and the garden burst into soft applause, the king and queen watching silently from a balcony. The wedding was grand but simple. No foreign princes, no royal flaunting, just love, culture and acceptance. Nwama wore a specially tailored head wrap that framed her beauty with pride. The people of Omokwe watched in awe. The princess who was once hidden had now become the kingdom's symbol of courage and grace. Years passed. Nwama and Chijioke ruled as leaders of peace and equality. She began a foundation to support children with physical differences. Her hair never shrank, but her confidence grew. She taught the kingdom that true royalty is not in birth